Hey everybody, it's Jenny, and I'm back to share how I planned as I went this week in my Plum paper planner. I'd like to remind you about my collaboration with Stickies this week, which is a company that I talked a lot about in the plan with me that I just posted yesterday, but it is a Black woman-owned company in the United States that is working with other Black artists to create the sticky notes, and I have been completely won over by this company, and I love the quality and the professionalism. So this week you can use code Jenny15 to save 15% on your order. I am doing an ink smush. Have you guys seen this on my stories? This is simply a plastic piece from a sticker order. I placed my Distress Oxide ink pad face down for a couple of times, sprayed one small squirt of water on there, smushed all the ink around, and then placed it on my planner page. I absolutely love the effect. It's really fun, really creative, and just makes my planning this week feel like I'm in art class. So I'm using a bunch of the Distress Oxides to do this technique. You can see I'll be doing it over and over again and simply removing the excess ink from the sheet with a baby wipe. I also do a lot of smooshing to remove any of the harsh edges. So like you'll see if you do this, you'll see that like, oh, you might get a really straight edge. I don't want that. I want it to all be sort of blobby. And so that's where I keep smooshing until I get that effect that I'm looking for. I am using distress inks. You can actually use a really wide variety of different inks on this. I would recommend, however, practicing on some scratch paper before I do that, just to make sure if you are particular, because everybody's got different levels of comfort when it comes to this thing in their planner. I'm simply just right there wiping off a little bit of excess ink, like it was pooling up a little bit, and I just didn't want that. I didn't want it to take that long to dry. I didn't want it to warp the page. As it stands, this does not warp the page. I'm adding so little water and spreading it out so much that it's not warping my page at all. Right there when you see me wiping off that plastic right before I add the ink, I'm just drying it, just simply to give the ink a good base to stamp on. Now you can see I'm varying where I'm adding the ink on the page. I am doing a rainbow. I know that doesn't surprise any of you. It just makes me so dang happy. So I felt like I should include that. And I'm just using the same Huggies baby wipes that I use to clean my stamps as well. I don't need anything special, but you don't have to use baby wipes. You could certainly use a paper towel. You could use a damp paper towel. You could use a microfiber cloth. This is just what I have right at my desk. And quite frankly, I'm too lazy to get up and go get something else while I'm in the middle of crafting, because who knows how I'd be distracted when I was gone. So I'm just smushing that ink down on the page, and then any pooling of the ink I'm dabbing off with my baby wipe, just so that I don't create, like I said already, the warping, and it'll dry faster. Now, I do want to be completely honest with you. I did get kind of messy with the purples, and I did have a little bit of overlap into the back of the page. Not really bleeding so much per se, but really a little bit more just I just kind of made a mess. This doesn't bother me at all. I was able to make all of that work out okay in the end, and I'm not really particular. I mean, I can be, but I'm not really super particular about how things are. So it works out okay for me. But with that said, you definitely need to be cautious. Like you need to maybe try this out on a scratch piece of the paper from your planner, those types of things. With that said, the Plum paper planner paper supports this the way that I'm doing it completely. Like I didn't have any problems with it at all. No bleeding or warping or anything like that. And again, I'm trying to not add too much liquid, and I'm trying to be mindful. I'm also using pastels too, so I'm not using really dark colors. Who knows how that would have turned out had I been using dark colors, So I get it. The purple is a little bit dark on Saturday, but it's really not crazy. And that is part of the color problem I had with the back side of the page. But next week, you'll get to see how that all turns out. I am using this kit from Let's Plan It. It is a gray and black and white kit. It's lots of florals, but then it has some bee-inspired elements as well. I'm super not into the bees, but I like the florals, so I'm making it work. Just like that black and white striped sticker, I like the stripes. Wasn't that into the text, so I just covered it up by layering, and layering is something I would do anyway, so that works out great that I'm able to use a sticker that I wouldn't maybe use by simply layering. Now you can see there's teeny tiny, like a teeny tiny little bee. I'm just going to cover that up with this circle sticker and then add the little hexagon. Again, I would layer anyway, so covering up one little element that I'm not crazy about works out fine. And again, it's not like I hate the bees or anything like that. It's not really my thing. So that's where that all comes into consideration, and that's how I come into something like purchasing a kit like this. So it's the vast majority is the florals, and I love the super neutralness of it, and so that's why I was a-okay with like a couple of bee elements. Like I can totally make that work because I love the rest of the kit. Now I'm also using a neutral kit this week with a rainbow inking, which is probably a little bit silly or crazy or, whatever, but I just thought I'd change it up. I would normally just go with the rainbows in its entirety and use rainbow colored stickers as well. But Kim on Instagram really inspired me to do it this way. And the funny part about that is that she did this ink smooshing with this kit, and she was inspired by my previous ink smooshing that I had done on my Instagram stories. And so then I was inspired back by her. It's just really funny how inspiration works in all kinds of different ways. So anyway, you can see how I am now planning writing directly on the page and also on the stickers. Now, if I'm writing directly on the page where there is ink, I am not using a mild liner. A, it feels a little like overkill. B, I really just wanted to go with the pretty ink and the ink smooshing. So adding mild liner would kind of ruin the effect. I mean, probably not ruin it, but it would definitely change the effect, and I didn't want that. So I'm just sticking with writing directly on the page, and so far so good. I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm alternating the stickers and writing on the page, and you can see how, for example, right there, I used one of the printed stickers. There's a few of those in each of the Let's Plan It kits, which, by the way, I love Let's Plan It kits. If you're new here, she chooses a lot of art that I really enjoy, and the paper is beautiful. And she offers not only functional stickers, full box stickers, but then she also offers deco sheets sometimes with her kits, and I love the extra deco sheets. Obviously, I could come up with my own decorative elements, especially with stamping and other stickers that I have and stuff, but I just love that they're all cohesive and they go together. Makes it really super easy for me. And honestly, I'm not somebody who does things that are hard in my crafting. I want it to be fun and I want it to be easy. And so this just offers that for me. Now you can see I did bring a mild liner in on a little bit on Wednesday and on Thursday because I was writing where there was not color. And so it hasn't changed that I want to add those pops of color on the white spots. I just don't want to add extra color on the inked up spots. Now that you get kind of a look at the whole week, I'm hoping that you are as inspired by this smooshing as I am. Looking at it, I just think it's just fabulous. I absolutely love it. It's so pretty to me, and it's not going to look the same way twice. And that's why the smooshing, you could literally do it every week and it would not be the same each week. Like I just had an idea of something I might want to try later in the summer, and hopefully I don't forget it and it doesn't fly out of my brain. I should absolutely write it down or something because I want to give it a try. And each week in this memory planner, I consider this to be like a memory planner without photos for me. I like to bounce back and forth between my functional planner, like the planner that I write things down in and scratch things out and make to-do lists. I like to bounce around, and what I was finding was that by allowing myself to bounce around, I didn't have one planner that sat on the shelf at the end of the year. And I also really like that too. Like I was really conflicted because I like having a complete planner at the end of the year. I like being able to look back at our plans. And so by doing this planner, I'm able to do that. I'm able to bounce around in my regular day-to-day planner. And then I'm also able to have a planner that sits on the shelf at the end of the year and that I can refer back to. And so that's why I consider this a memory planner too, because it's not my functional planner. I'm not carrying this one around, but I am documenting mostly every day in it. And it feels really good to me and I really like it. And I think that this style of planning really works for a lot of different reasons and for a lot of different people. And I think that having planned for so many years now, I see that everybody's got something different. So hopefully you can pick up an idea or two by watching my planning. Now we are on to Monday and we're just filling out the day. I already had the activities in here, so the things that were going to happen that I knew I'm adding, but then I'm also adding things that I forgot, because that happens all the freaking time. I forget things, like for example, my husband's poker. He has poker twice a month. I forget it all the time. I don't know why. Probably because it's not mine and I don't pre-plan for it. So it's not on my brain. And then I also like to add extra places that I might have gone, things I might have done, lists if I have them, need them, have room for them, Happy Meal, things that I purchased, like, oh, I may have done a Target pickup for chapstick, something like that. Again, these types of things may not be important to you, but that might help spark something for you that is important to you. I get inspiration like that all the time. Somebody will say X, but it makes me think of Y. And so that's really something that's why I share some of these details with you, to hope that you can figure out for yourself how it works. Now I did have a little bit of extra space, so I layered a couple of those decorative stickers to fill that in, because I like to basically at the end of the week really not have a ton of white space left, because I want to add a lot of decoration. So not because I'm anti-white space. That's actually not true at all. I love white space. But I wanted to really lean heavily on the creativity in this planner. Now look at that. I added a bee. And didn't I just tell you that I'm not all about the bees? That's why I try not to say never, because you just never know what I'm going to pull out. I'm adding a little bit more brush lettering. These are the Le Pen Flex pens, and I like these. The size is really good for planners, and the tip of them is rubber, and so they're not going to fray like a lot of other brush pens do. And so that just means the longevity is really good for these. I get frustrated, not because necessarily I don't want to buy another package. That's not it. I mean, again, I don't want to spend double money on something or anything, but if I went to use it and it was frayed and I couldn't use it, then I'd be so annoyed that I couldn't use it. Like, I want it to work. I want my supplies to work when I need them and when I want them. So I am just alternating back and forth between the writing directly on the page and then also the stickers, and also adding icons from my stash. For a long time, I was just picking up icons that I thought were super cute, and so that's how I sort of built this stash. Now I have really honed the ones that I need a lot, and I have a pretty wide stash of stickers. So when I first bought stickers, I bought them indiscriminately, and then I bought things that I thought were cute and that I would use, and then now it's really basically just sort of like a replenishing, or if things have changed how I plan and, oh, now I need camera photos, or, oh, now I need phone calls, those types of things. These are some stamps from Studio Calico. I'll link you up below. They do this series of month stamps, and I think they're really cool. Like, they're super festive. They've got like holidays and things like that. And then they also have the month. And so I love adding that in there occasionally, just because I think it's a fun way to tie it all together. Like, this is the month of May. Then I'm able to stamp a little bit. And then like right there, I used the same color Distress ink that I used for the smooshing. So it turned out really monochromatic and I love it. Now just adding a little strip of Simply Gilded washi down at the bottom. It's kind of a rainbow and it's variegated, like it goes from pink to peach to light yellow. And so it turns out it looks really cute because that's kind of the way that this layout has turned out as well. Then I added a couple of little leaves at the bottom, if you can see that right there. And again, I was trying to mimic like leaves falling from a tree, which makes absolutely no sense since it's spring, but I think we all know that leaves fall off of trees all year round, not just in the fall, although obviously that's far more common. Now, one of the other things I like to notate in my planner is that last summer we built a pool at our house, and so now, ever since then, I like to notate the days that we use the pool and the spa and things like that because I'm absolutely in love with it. And then B, I just think it's really fun to see how much we use it, to document that. It's just one of those things that I really enjoy. So I'm adding the mild liner right there to the page. And I don't know that that color of yellow matches perfectly with the Distress ink. For me, and my comfort level, it is absolutely fine. There is not too much, like the colors blend fine for me. Now that may not be true for you or for someone else, but I really like it. Now I wanted to use one of these stamps from Everyday Explorers Co. I'll link them up in the notes as well. And the one that fit was one of these teeny tiny little prompts, and it's directly related to the hot tub. So that worked out. Look how cute that is. Like it's just tiny and goes wonderfully in documenting like a little bit of self-care. And so yeah, it's fun. That's why one of the things I love about stamping is that because they're clear, I can see exactly how they'll fit, and I'll know based on this wide variety of stamps that I have if they'll fit and if they'll fit like with the theme. I'm sorry this is a little blown out, overexposed. It's kind of hard to see. I sometimes get to filming before I realize that there's too much light coming in and I need to move the camera settings. And so what that means is I can delete it and not share a video with you, or I can post a slightly blown out, harder to see video in hopes that you still get some of the detail and get some of the inspiration from it. I choose most of the time to share it with you anyway, even though I would prefer to be able to have it be better, but it's either that or not sharing it at all. And I think most of you would agree that sharing it like this is better than not sharing it at all. So Thursdays and Fridays and the weekend, it always feels like it gets away from me. And you can see right there, it was a busy Thursday. So there wasn't a ton for me to add in. So I was able to pop in a couple of little decorative elements, including some brush lettering. And that was it. Now we're on to Friday, and I am notating. I just notate some of the funniest things in my planner. And I mean that like in a not weird or not a self-deprecating kind of way. The things that my brain wants to document, and I have a lot of fun with that. For example, my husband plays pickleball with his friends multiple times a week, and so I always document that. And it just amuses me because pickleball is funny in and of itself. They have a great time, and then I choose to document it in my planner. As you can tell, and if any of you have been here for any length of time, you can tell that I'm just in general fairly silly. I enjoy having fun, and I enjoy that fun spilling over into my planner. I don't take things too seriously in general. So, I mean, obviously I take appropriate things seriously, but for the most part, memory keeping and planning is fun for me. So I like to have a lot of fun when I do that. I added that torn little corner right there because I had plenty of room in Saturday and Friday. And that's one of the cool things about those torn little corners is that it really takes up some extra room and looks awesome while doing it, given the pattern and then that decal edge from the tearing. Now on Saturday, it was a little bit busier. There were definitely some errands to be run and things like that, but the width of that sticker for where it fell over on Saturday was much thinner, so it would leave me lots of room to do that. Now my husband had returned home from a work trip, and so I was able to notate that with like little ticket stickers that matched the blue from that day, and I was excited about that. I was probably not thinking about it on Friday. It doesn't always occur to me at the time to do it. And then sometimes it'll occur the next day or 2 days later. And again, that's why I love this plan as I go, because I'm able to, oh yeah, what about that? And then I add it back or whatever. And so again, I try not to sweat this. It's really supposed to be fun and a memory keeping exercise for me. And so that's why I like to have a more casual approach to this. These are my Chrissy Ann Designs stickers in the binder, and I collected these for many years, and I just love those little push pens. I probably will need to buy some more, particularly the pastels. They just work great for drawing attention to activities that I don't maybe need a whole sheet of icons for, like maybe that specific activity doesn't come up enough, or I don't feel like using, like a haircut, for example. I guess I could buy some scissor icon stickers or look through my stash, Happy Planner books and stuff to see if I have any. But a push pen works just great for that. So there's no worries there. Hard to believe we're at the end of the week, and I'm going to add a little bit of brush lettering thanks to these flex pens. Again, they are pastels, and so I love that because lots and lots of brush lettering pens are either black or bold primary colors, which I love. I'm not dogging it at all, but I also love pastels, so I like to add them to the page. Now I am notating a brunch, and so I'm also pulling out a fork and knife icon sticker to just help dress that up a little bit. I love the icons. I think that they make ordinary things a little bit more fun. Obviously, it's not necessary to put that there, but I do like the way that it looks in the end. And it helps keep me motivated, honestly. When I think it's really fun and I enjoy the process, it keeps me much, much more motivated. So that's definitely why I do it. So that is it for me this week. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you would be so kind as to check out stickiesco.com, I would really appreciate it. You can use the code Jenny15 on any purchases, and I think you'll be as impressed by their professionalism and quality as I was. So thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and make it a great day.